You become a drug addict, Roo. Well, it's apparently been 6 months since I've last made a video, and holy shit, time flies. That being said, here's my face again. So the last few months have had both its ups and its downs for, I would imagine, most of us. And specifically this year has really started off with some serious lows. So for me, it started off with the loss of my child, Kai, who you may or may not have seen in some of my previous videos, as well as the breakup. Everything felt like it was falling to pieces, and I just knew I had to pull myself together and do something about it. I mean, 2018 is supposed to be a good year, right? So a couple of years ago, a friend of mine told me about this thing called ayahuasca. Now since then, it's always intrigued me, and I just knew that I had to get in on that action. The thing is though that so many times we try and do certain things, or we try and go down a specific path in life, and it's just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle that kind of stop us from doing a certain thing. Turns out, well, if you believe in that stuff, that it's not always the right time when we think it is. So moving on, in a long story short, I eventually got a chance to go on an ayahuasca retreat, and boy was I shitting myself. Now, I've never taken any drugs in my life, apart from marijuana, which I don't really see as a drug, but I've somehow found myself deeply submerged in the world of psychedelia. If you don't know what psychedelia or psychedelics are, Google is your friend. Now, I'm not really going to go into all the details about my experience with ayahuasca. For those of you that are interested in the nitty-gritty details, I will post a link below to an article that I wrote about it. Now, I just have to say that the point of this video is not to try and convince the world of psychedelics. Think of this as a more of a sharing is caring type video. Basically from the point of view of somebody that's super critical, super cynical, and who questions everything. Now, probably like some of you, I need answers to literally everything. And maybe you do too, but the whole point of this experience for me personally was to try and find myself, as well as to seek answers to all of the millions of questions that I have floating around in this cray-cray mind of mine. So in a nutshell, here's how it went down. It was a 3-night retreat, initially 2 nights, but then I decided to add an extra night because, you know, go big or go home. So I got there way early, which only made me panic even more because I had time to think about things, and I had time to kind of create these weird ass scenarios in my head. You know, stuff like, what if I die? What if I experience nothing? What if I see demons? Etc, etc. Automatically going to all the negative things instead of thinking about good things like, what if I like it? What if it's an amazing experience? What if I see angels? What if it's just amazing? But no. It's funny how our brain works. So anyway, first night, didn't experience anything. I was super disappointed. And of course I thought, fucking great, just as I imagined. There is no God, there is no afterlife, there's nothing. Fuck it. Second night, most beautiful night of my life. Loved it. Third night, however, that was batshit crazy. Seriously bad. Call it what you will. I hated it. So I pretty much had all the highs and all the lows over the course of the weekend. But I have to say, all in all, it was beyond amazing. Truly life-changing. Seriously. So it almost feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. In a sense, it's kind of hard to explain. It's almost like trying to explain what sex feels like to somebody that has never had sex before. You know what I mean? Well, at least those of you that are allowed to have sex. Now, I just have to say that ayahuasca, or anything like it, isn't necessarily going to heal you of all your shit, but it does act as an incredible tool to get you where you need to go. And don't get me wrong, I still have my days where I feel low, but they are few and far between nowadays. I almost feel, in a sense, lighter. I feel happier, I feel more content. I have a lot more gratitude. I'm mindful of so many more things in life and around me. I have less hate. It's all quite astounding, to be honest. The lesson, well, one of them at least. We shouldn't be scared to experience things in life and to seek answers when things don't add up, to live life to the fullest. I believe that people in general are far too content with all the bullshit that the world feeds us. So my next experience is going to be psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms. Ooh, you become a drug addict, Roo. Hardly. It's just another thing that I feel I need to experience, especially since it apparently does wonders for depression and so on. And I'll definitely keep you posted on how that went. That's me for today, and as always, I'm Roo. And what I want to leave you with today is, the next time you wonder about stuff, instead of just reading about it, why not just go and experience it? Except of course killing shit. Rather just read about that. Peace.